sir, the incident about you going to Berkeley and the thing in University of California. Before that, you were astrophysics. Wanted cherished to be an astrophysicist. How you turn out to be a nuclear scientist?
So when I was in school, I think at the age of 10, I wanted to become a scientist. And I decided that, and one thing that I'm a very obstinate person. So if I decide something, I stick to it. I don't listen to anyone else. And my grandmother also told me about this to me. When I went to IIT Kharagpur, I wanted to do physics. They forced me to take engineering, but I changed to physics immediately. I came back to Delhi to do my master's because there was some more options for physics. I did astrophysics and cosmology and so on. And with Nardika, I worked in 1981, right after my master's was getting over, and I was to go to Berkeley. And my whole admission, everything to Berkeley was based on my work in astrophysics and so on. Berkeley, by the way, that time was number one in the world in physics, actually. Then the night when I was about to leave for US, that my first flight of the life. I was in Delhi and waiting to take flight. There were a number of people who had come to see me. One of them was my uncle, who had paid half of the money for the trip. There was 6,000 rupees at that time. And he asked me this question. We were waiting at JNU campus in the boundary. There were 20, 30 people all sitting, waiting around 12 o'clock. Flight was around 4 o'clock. He asked me this question, what are you going to do there? And something happened through my mind, which I had never thought about. Something happened and I said that I'll do nuclear fusion or space physics. So what might have happened, I can think now, is that I probably thought that I'm Delhi country, what am I going to do with astrophysics and black hole? Let me do something that will be useful. I never thought about it, but this is the answer I gave him. And when I went to Berkeley, I did follow nuclear fusion. So probably I'm the first PhD in nuclear fusion from this country. I had no idea I'll get a job. I had no plans to stay in the US. But no idea, but then I said that I'll do what I want. That's how I got into this.
That's absolutely clear. So the thing what actually changed in just 1 second while sitting on the airport, but that actually converted sir as an application scientist. Sir, I have read this, but should not be asking this question. That the cosmology and astrophysics is not productive at all.
Not
productive.
No, it's not that. Somehow I felt that it's not immediately giving country something which it needs.
Yeah.
So it has its own real, but something went to my mind that how it's going to help improve quality of life. Something that we focus on technology vision 2035. For that, Dr. Bhaskar is sitting here.
Yeah.
We focus on quality of life of citizens. That was very important. Probably something went to my mind. There was no logical thinking. There was no time. Just something came out of my mind.
Just a googly question like that. So the study of cosmology, astrophysics is as old as the human civilization, isn't it? Since when we started watching stars, it actually came. Nuclear came much later. And then now I want you to really tell about that fusion, that confusion about the nuclear fusion. What is your key area and what is that?
Well, so you said confusion and fusion. So we want to control fusion. So uncontrolled fusion has taken place. Hydrogen bomb an example of that. What we've been working in control nuclear fusion. Now, my area when I was doing a PhD at Berkeley was based on modeling and simulation. I had a lot of interest in computers from, I think, 1977. I was in Kharagpur. From that time, I got interested. And so my work was more all on computers. We used to have fastest computer in the world at that time. Cray 1 and Cray 2 at Lawrence Livermore. We used to access it remotely from Berkeley. My research was being at Lawrence Berkeley Lab. Oppenheimer, the movie that you might have seen, Oppenheimer was my physics department. Physics department, we had 7 Nobel Prize winners. Chemistry, we had 7 Nobel Prize winners. I was teaching assistant in the first semester with Owen Chamberlain, who was a Nobel Prize winner for antiproton discovery. So that was the kind of environment we had. Cyclotron was discovered in my physics department. I was lucky to teach a course in that particular classroom as well. That's the kind of environments. But after I came to India, right after my PhD, 86, I finished my PhD. I took a flight, came back to India. And I realized that I have to solve problems. For that, my knowledge, my expertise does not matter. That I've followed throughout my life. So for nuclear fusion, I've done anything and everything that was required, whether developing power supply, data acquisition system, developing experiments, or tightening screws. I've done everything in the industry. That's the lesson in my life. I don't look at my expertise or what's coming out of it for me. If I have a solid problem, I have to do everything for that. That's what I've done in nuclear fusion.
Absolutely.
I can go into more details. We have time.
Yeah. So this is what is controlled fusion that actually you are trying to tell. It is the limitless energy of the sun. So you are trying to bring that what we call the relentless source of energy, continuous source of energy, and that is your application. But where have you tried this in India?
Yeah. So luckily, when I was doing my PhD in 1980s in US, the nuclear fusion project was starting in India at that time. So around 1983 and so on, two places in India. One was Saha Institute of Nuclear Physics in Calcutta. Project was started there called Hot Plasma Project, funded by Atomic Energy. And those of you who are not aware, plasma physics was started by Dr. Meghnad Saha and it was in 1920. And the same year, it was a French scientist name who said that nuclear fusion happens inside the sun.
Yeah.
1920 was very important from that point of view. And so it was historic that nuclear fusion project was planned in Science to Nuclear Physics by Department of Atomic Energy. And around the same time, Institute of Plasma Research in Gandhinagar was being set up by Department of Science and Technology. So these two projects were started. When I was coming back, I was given an offer by BRC, but they also told me that you should go to either Gandhinagar or Calcutta. So I chose to be in Calcutta. When I went, there was nothing there. Frank, not even a computer. I was using fastest computer in the world. Not a computer. Nobody knew about nuclear fusion reactor, which one of the devices which most popular is called tokamak. It just stands for toroidal magnetic chamber. It's the Russian abbreviation. Nobody knew about tokamaks in India. People who were started working. I also didn't know much really, except for the fact that I was doing simulation. But that it was not for tokamak. It was for another device that I had, conceptualized. So when I came in, I started working on setting up computers. Started developing data. So that machine was coming from Toshiba of Japan, a small machine which they made according to our requirement. The small machine with the budget was about 2.5 crores. Within that, whatever could be fitted in. And they didn't give some of the things like power supply was half money supply, no data system. 87, that machine came in around, I think, April 87. Engineers came from Toshiba, Japanese, they were trying to assemble things and so on. And there was nothing to acquire data. The discharge would last for millisecond, 10, 20 milliseconds. We wanted to capture it digitally so we could analyze it later on. So I started developing data acquisition system. Written some blogs on that, so I'm not going to those details. And then I got a chance to connect that to actual machine. And then as I was handling data acquisition, I had to sit there, was doing modeling, and I started to understand the problems that were facing. One of the things that I thought that maybe there's a problem of impurity inside the machine. And how to clean that impurity. And that also, I must tell one thing, I was using a code which was 60,000 lines code for Baldu. And to code that code to our small computers took me about 1 year's time. And then it was very difficult to get any answer from that. It was with too large a code. So I wrote a 500 lines code, removed all the dependencies, and I started putting impurities. I found that they put 100%, 150%, the behavior of discharge starts to be produced. Now, how do I clean up the impurities? So on the experiment, I asked who was working on this. He said, take me 3-4 years' time. I said, I can't wait for that. So then I thought of developing something myself. And I came up with a weird idea because I didn't want to import anything from anywhere because that time importing was like hell of a job. Like it takes 3-4 years' time. You have to open letter of credit, you have to put in budget 1 year ahead of time and so on. So instead of using high voltage things, I used a transistor which was limited to 70, 80 volts, less than that. I made a system, a lot of story behind that, but it worked, cleaned the machine, and machine performance started to improve. And then the power supply was not enough to keep the plasma stable. The plasma was ramped up, but could not remain. So I made the power supply. It was half of the power supply was by Japanese and half was mine. But I tried to maintain the same standards. We bought everything from India, nothing from abroad. what was costing by Toshiba 1.5 crore, we could do it in 20 lakh rupees. So I got a power supply working, restarting system working, and many other things we did so that the machine started to perform well. And then it was around 1991. At about 91, there was a plasma science strategy symposium and annual event in Cat Indoor, now called RRCat. That time I declared the results. And then the Gandhi Dinner was the main center, so it took their attention. Dr. Professor P.K. was very well known, became doctor at age of 34. And then he had a meeting with me. I was only 31 years of age at that time. Then we started interacting. I was invited to come to IPR. I was planning superconducting tokamak at that time because Valley Woolani Cyclotron Center was planning superconducting cyclotron. I thought I could do that. It was needed to maintain the plasma for a very long time. And when I planned the project, I was promised support. But in 94, we had a meeting in Gandhinagar. And suddenly, Prof. PK announced that we have got two projects of SST1 and SST2 approved, kind of given green signal by government of 800 crores rupees. The background was that P.K. Narasimha Rao was Prime Minister. He went to China for a renewable conference and he heard about nuclear fusion, came back to India, asked what is happening in India, and through that, Prime Minister's office approved. Then I was asked to shift to Gandhinagar, and then IPR was shifted from Department of Science Technology to Department of Meteorology. It took some time, 95 hours I shifted, and old reactor Aditya, which was set up in 89, was not working for 6 years. I was asked to work on it. In 5 days, I could get to work. I was given project leadership of that, and as well as SST1, the new machine I was producing on the control system and operation groups. That's how I got involved in these things. Yeah,
that's indeed very great. Sir, in short, layman terms, what I understand is a turret-based kind of a system which is there, and in front of a cyclotron type of thing, you actually infuse a magnetic thing to really get the temperature to a level, and then the plasma is regulated. And SST1 and 2 are your kind of creation, is it?
No, so I was planning superconducting tokamak, which would make sure that we'll keep it for a long time because foils will not heat up and so on and so forth. You need to maintain. So SST1 is I was planning just one machine, but suddenly when the Prime Minister got interested, IPR put approval two machines. Two machines. SST1 is smaller one, SST2 a larger one. And I got that money, so I was called in. SST1 was being planned at the time, mid-90s I'm talking of. So I was given the response for developing the control system for that and also the operation of the machine operated. In the parallel, Aditya was given response to the full machine, everything to be done for that. And we went through a lot of things. I'm not going to those details. If somebody is interested, I have some blogs on this. SST1 was to demonstrate a 1,000-second plasma, which was going to be very important for ITER project being developed in France with multiple countries partnering in that. Unfortunately, I moved out in 2002 from IPR to the Institute. That machine never worked properly. 2005, it was set up first time. It was disassembled again because there wasn't technical problems. Assembled after 8 years, 2013. Never worked. This kind of value system has failed. I have now heard that they're thinking whether they can spend 150 crores to again redo the planning system. I'm not sure. That's
isn't a way, but when we can look at the energy kind of problem as an solution. So it is stuck at some level, and then we need to go and get it going.
So okay, let me separate out the situation in India versus situation outside India. Okay. India will stop. Okay. Unless there is a major change that happens. One thing that with Professor Jayaraman we have been discussing also is that we need to distinguish between nuclear fission and fusion. As he also mentioned, nuclear world is always taken to be fission. We talk about nuclear scientists, it's not people who are doing fusion. It's always people who are working fission. That's what we have been talking about.
That is the confusion.
So that is the confusion. But in terms of policy, we need to distinguish between these two. In terms of requirement safety, exclusion zones, also is a big difference. All the other countries have separate laws like US and Japan. China is done wonderful. Canada, UK, and so on. But India was still stuck with nuclear means nuclear and means fission. So everything is related to that. So that's a very important thing. But what is happening worldwide? Things have made tremendous progress. So now by 2035, we expect nuclear fusion to be powering the grid. Okay. One project I would like to mention is Commonwealth Fusion System, which is set up by MIT group, MIT in US, and that's made tremendous progress. It's a standard tokamak. Main difference is high temperature, high magnetic field superconducting magnets. You don't need to go to liquid helium. You can work at liquid nitrogen level. And then you get, instead of what we were using 1.5 Tesla, 2 Tesla, you can go to 20 Tesla and so on. So it becomes very compact. The cost reduces. Instead of what was costing $20 billion, it becomes $2 billion. So they are working very well. Things are going well. And what we're expecting, they've announced the project in Virginia, a place called Chesterville. They're saying by 2035, they'll put 400 megawatts of power into the grid. Yeah. That is situational, but whether that will succeed, there are many other techniques being worked upon. There is also a concept, aneutron fusion, which does not involve neutrons at all, like a proton boron reaction. It does not involve neutrons at all, so safety point of view is wonderful. All of these are happening. Which one will become really commercial, or the one that feeds power may not become commercial because the economic things, we don't know. But what is certain is by 10 years we will get. So the 20 years we're talking about now is becoming 10 years commercialized.
And so you are working on something called Sunlight. That is the project which is on. And then connected to this, I have seen Cray 1, Cray 2. So those were fascinating in our time. Like what people talk of AI, that time was supercomputer. And then I see, so you have worked on that. So I want your experience on what was Cray 1, Cray 2 experience. And here in India, we have worked on supercomputers in Pune. But that experience we want.
So I'm very interested in computers. I've done only one course in IIT Kharagpur. That was a Fortran programming course. And we were not allowed to go to computers. Actually, the teacher would teach on the board and we will kind of write on the paper and he will examine it. But luckily, the very first class that we had, a very good teacher we had, and when he was showing a program on the board, got stuck somewhere. I suddenly had to help him out. That's it. So I used to go like a thief to IIT Kharagpur card punching centers and punch one program and try to run it. So I had interest in that. Cray 1, Cray 2 came handy. Cray 1 was being used quite a bit. We used to get 3 minutes CPU time in one day, and all US and Japan used to be the same systems. It was magnetic field energy computer sector. In Lawrence Livermore, it used to be the whole thing was suspended in very cold temperatures. I think Freon or something like that. Inside that is being so the most time it was completely down because of that cooling system problem. I was to access from I could get access from home also somehow and from office, but we couldn't do anything other thing that was too slow. So you had to do something here and transfer files and that. We're not going into those details. But I was very interested that Cray 2 when it came in, it was a new one, but so people were not aware of that. So before people start using from Cray 1 to Cray 2, I started to use Cray 2. So I could get more time on Cray 2. It was like a new baby which nobody knew. So I could get more time. So I had a lot of interest in that. And then everything was happening around that time. Macintosh came in 1984. I started to develop Devanagari fonts, went to speak Devanagari and all kind of things. I developed program. I was growing with the computers as they were developing. So all that happened. I came to Science Institute. I set up computer systems, and I kept doing that. So one part of my life was related to computer. The other side was fusion, and then I was combining both of these together.
From an AI point of view, when we have to think that we have to faster than the slowest of the computer or faster than the fastest computer, but you are working on the fastest computer since then, means now almost 40 years. Just now coming to your area. Now, this was your area about you are a nuclear physicist, nuclear scientist, fusion scientist. That is really a wonderful kind of thing that you have developed. The model is almost ready. Maybe another 20 years we'll be having the fruits.
10 years. 10
years, the fruits will be unfolded. But now the man from thinking about universe, then coming out, bringing out solar energy, now going on to the application side. And that is your aspect of what we call Ranjan devices, and then all aspect about the brain, and then mind, and then gadget interface. How it started? I think it started with Dhirubhai Ambani Institute.
Yeah, so 2002 I moved to the Dhirubhai Ambani Institute of Information and Communication Technology. That was funded by Reliance Group, of course, and then money was not an issue. We had a lot of flexibility that we created. We made a lot of changes in the system based on what the experiences of others in mind. But one thing we did was to focus on real life problems. We used to ask the students to go after first year summer. We had to ask them to do rural literacy. They had to go and stay in rural areas. Which is a lot of resistance with of parents who would say that no, my child cannot go and live in rural area. No, he or she has never done this. But we insisted that. What we saw that was a wonderful thing. We used to ask them to spend time, come back, work on design project in second year, which was a pass not pass thing. You work throughout year. There is no pressure. It's a no pressure thing. Work after exam, work in vacation. So it was not that you were trying to do something to get marks. The two girls, I must take their name, Ramaya and Pallavi from Hyderabad, who noticed a newspaper item when they were in Hyderabad about a girl called Bhavna who had cerebral palsy, severe cerebral palsy. And she had passed class 10. So that actually made a big headline. Okay. So they went travel from Hyderabad to Chennai to meet Bhavna and came back and told about her. One thing she liked to do was to watch television, but she couldn't control it herself because she couldn't move her hands, fingers. She couldn't do remote control. She restricted finger movements. She couldn't speak. She couldn't walk. So what we did was we said, okay, let's make her operate television by herself. So what she could do was move her hands a little bit, very coarse movement. We said, okay, fine, let's capture her gesture. So if she moves her hand up, the TV channel goes up, TV channel goes down. When she turns it, volume goes down, volume goes up. So channel and volume she could control. So these two girls worked on that for some time, about a year. And then next batch came, so I said, this is a very interesting thing. It's going to help somebody. Let's take it up. So by 2008, 2009 early, we were ready with a device which could operate television using gestures. We got National HP Innovate 2009 award, National Award. We went to Palo Alto HP Labs.
HP award also, sir.
Right. And then luckily the director of HP Lab was my Kharagpur batchmate with energy. So that's how we started in this. And then I found that we are able to change life of people and bring smiles on faces of people. And I felt that this was science and technology all about, is to bring smiles on faces of people and not just increasing number of publications and so on. So I decided from earlier on, right after my PhD, that not working.
Let me interrupt you at this level. Instead of having increased the citation, now we are working on citation and impact factor and H index and all. So he's having the least thing, but still quite work, but not interested in that. Interested in application kind of thing. So you made people speak without speaking, and that to your hand gesture. How was it?
So I used many things depending upon I can connect to real people, look at the real problem. I would not imagine a problem, do it. Take a real person, identify his or her problem and work on it. And for that, I would not have any hat, what I know, I don't know. I will just look at the problem, try to learn things. Other thing I also learned was that don't look at what somebody else has done. Think new. And so many solutions that we came up, maybe costing 5 lakh rupees in US, we could do it in a few thousand rupees here. So due to that, I got involved in things. So we developed things based on hand gesture, leg movements, voice, head movement, eye movement. And finally, we came to thought-based things or something that is happening in the brain you can capture somehow and make people do that. So the whole...
So now tell us about that brain, mind and gadget kind of interface. How you came about that. One thing just for the interest of everyone. So you can control this light by having kind of gadgets and maybe the volume, sound, and maybe every other kind of. But this was much ahead of the time of AI, and that was really making headlines. Those maybe science journals were writing those things, but not as much publicized as otherwise it would have been in these days. So talk about brain and then mind and then gadget interface.
Recently, AI started working on 1997.
Yeah.
28 years back. I'll come to that point later on. That I would call it artificial neural network. But coming to this part, actually, so what I said that let's focus on ability of a person. Let's capture whatever the person can do rather than what the person cannot do. Normally, what to say, this person cannot walk, this person cannot speak, this person cannot see. Let's not worry about what the person can do. Let's focus on the positive aspect of the person's life. Use the positive part to make their life a better quality of life. For the brain-computer interface, I will give credit to journalist friends. I have a couple of my journalist colleagues here sitting here. I was giving a talk at Patna Medical College and on my work with gesture-based things. Gesture in Hindi would be Isara. But somehow by mistake, he wrote front page story on Vicharon se chalne wali uttara. Yeah. Instead of gesture, he said thought-based thing. I looked at it, I said, oh my God, what has it done? After 2-3 days of shock, I said that once he's made this mistake, let me prove him right. So 2010 it was, and I said, let me see how I can capture thoughts and work on this. So I started looking at internet and found a neuro headset that was developed in US. There's a big story behind that. I'll not get into that. A device called Emotive that was just developed and released in US and it was only available in US and Canada. Well, after that, and finally, I think next year, in May 2011, I could get the device. I worked in for 1 month, and most of my work is done on my bed, so it was not in an office or something.
This is the work in the area of disability and then removing assisted kind of technology.
Right.
And I can say that is the mercy of disabled because so many devices which have come and so many faces, so many people on whose faces the spine have come. Sir, regarding this brain then body interfaces there. Currently, Elon Musk is even putting some kind of neural link in the brain.
Yeah,
so this is similar to that.
So there are two types. One is called invasive, other is called non-invasive. Okay. So we work on non-invasive techniques because invasive means you have to do surgery or some other way to get something inside, which will give you a better quality signal. But for most of the purposes, I don't require that. That's expensive. That requires hospital and many other risks also involved. We work with something which you can capture signals from upper part, what is the motor cortex region. And there are limited signals that you get related to certain motions. But even we have not used most of them, what we have done is that we capture the head movement using a gyro sensor which is built into the neural set. And we capture some facial expression like eye blink or smile. Like I demonstrated, through a smile, I can control a light bulb. Or my eye blink, I can control things. There are YouTube videos on this. So we started using very simple things rather than getting into very complex things. It was my purpose was not research and public and paper. My purpose was to help a person. And so that was like one gentleman, the first one we helped was gentleman Suresh Kanar, Kesu. He was from Ahmedabad, and through one of his batchmates, Dr. Rasmi Bansal, who is in Mumbai itself. She's also a famous author. Her father also TIFR, Dr. Yuva. Through her, I got connected to him, and he had suffered a very serious stroke. It was, I think, 1999 when he was the age of 32. He lost his voice, his hand movement, leg movement, and voice, everything. He couldn't do any of these things. The only thing he could do was blink of his eyes. So went into what's called lock-in condition. So through Rashmi, I came in contact with Suresh Karar, and I talked to his wife Jayasri and understood his situation. And the one thing he wanted to do was to write blogs. There was no other way to express. Somebody put a book in front of his or computer in front of him, he couldn't do anything. So I said, let me make him write blogs and do things. So then I developed this brain-computer interface especially for his requirement. So he could start type. We also showed him how he could control light and other things, but he doesn't use that. He started writing blogs and written blogs about what we did also, which changed his life. That's how we started, and then many other cases started to come. Right now, luckily, I'm chairman of a cognitive committee on brain-computer interface explanation process. And we are working in many areas, including helping children with learning problems, even identifying multiple intelligence among children so we can guide them properly about learning and career choices. So now we're focusing on these areas and also disability sector, neuro rehabilitation, so all of these we are involved.
So regarding Neuralink and all this kind of thing, a crazy thought comes to my mind. If I have any gadgets connected to my brain and something like AI apocalypse, can it happen? Like any kind of the wild thoughts, which might even the machine might be my death, or maybe the sane man would be savage or something like that. Can it happen?
Well, I'll give you a simple example. when I started developing these things, there are two types of people who wanted to know something. One was teachers wanting to know where their students. The second, wives wanting to know what is happening in their husband's brain.
Exactly, sir. I am asking you the same thing.
So it's very dangerous thing.
Very dangerous. So at this note, so let's even move from universe to sun to brain body and then assisted kind of a technology with all those tools and to even mercy of what we call disable. You need one special award for this. Sir, I have not seen anything which has come to you except maybe the Tawai Cattle. Your mission to the moon and then the planetary kind of thing. Because see, the man is shifting from astrophysics to nuclear fusion to assisted kind of technology to AI. And now, sir, what I see is absolutely fascinating. Please.
So, in fact, that order I had given a talk, my journey to brain, started from universe to come to sun, to come to moon, to come to body, and then, sorry, from moon to earth, then to body, and then to brain. That's my journey to brain. But coming back to moon mission, actually, I was working in an area of sensor network, which got initiated because of my interest in nuclear fusion and remote handling, robots, and group of robots, and then to sensor network. And then I started developing systems to track wildlife.
Yeah, that is great. Sir.
And then I was giving a talk at a Space Shuttle Center in Ahmedabad. There's a special guest session at the end of induction program on the employees. Sometimes they'll call me. And when I was talking about this, I made a loose comment about whether this technology can be used to be in use. Satyam Chandran 1 was planned. And then through that, started discussing, and eventually in 2007, we had discussion with them to detect water on the moon. And that project came to...
That is the great kind of a discovery that Indians have really done. They launch on the southern part of the moon, and then the man who is sitting in front. See the kind of a different, see the kind of a diversity, the spectrum which is there. Having a classic science mindset which is there, curiosity and zeal to solve the problem. Sir, you are the Chanakya of having the man who is in technology vision 2035 is there. You are also here. We have met even in the very hall, maybe 5 years back, when we had that thing unfolded.
2016, 17.
16, 17, we were there. And sir, you are architect of that. You have those galloping horses and then striding and then walking kind of a thing. So what are the targets? What I see jokingly means I read the news in the papers like the cars will be flying and then auto kind of a thing. So body scanners will be diagnosing the diseases, and then India will be on the path with AI and robotic 3D printing and every other kind. How much has it realized?
Yeah, so let me clear. First, it was not my individual effort, it was the whole team. Prabhat Ranjan is there. There were 6 of us who would meet, 3, Prabhat Ranjan and Dr. Vansani and Nantana. And then a TIFAC team, 3 of us which would be there. We used to close ourselves into hotel rooms, for 3 days and so on. We'll not go out anywhere. We'll work day and night. Be relaxed. I remember first meeting we had in Chennai. I have a picture of 3 of them, which we call 3 idiots. And so we worked in a very different way. It was not a formal way of working. You don't put suit and tie and go to office. No. We'll work in a relaxed way, work day and night. Whenever you feel comfortable, you want to sleep, go and sleep. We'll discuss one word. So it was teamwork backed up by TIFAC team, where we looked at how to analyze future. We developed many techniques to understand the horizontal scanning, many things we did to identify this. But one thing we always said that our head should be above the cloud, our feet should be grounded.
Absolutely.
So that was a very important point. Second point was that this book was for young people. We wanted to capture the aspirations, the desires of young mind. With interaction with the school students, college students, we found that the top scientists of the country, when we called them to talk about what India should be in 2035, most of them failed. So they only talked about their research work and what they expected to be in their area. But they couldn't talk about country. But when you talk to young people, they were unhindered. They said, I want to do this, I want to do that. That is what came. The whole document that finally came out was capturing aspirations and desires of young mind. So that was the vision document that came out. Then we have roadmaps to achieve that. So that was how things happened in that. What I've seen is that a lot of changes in the country happening because there's set up document, but nobody knows about it. It's not being talked about. The books which were available on TIFAC website has been removed. TIFAC has been shut down now. But after 5 years of launch of that in 2016, I did or maybe, 21 or 22, I did write a blog, look back, what has happened in respect to that. What we have found is that many sectors we have done wonderful. But one sector we are lagging behind is healthcare. I'll give a couple of examples. For example, we had put in that by 2035, our average life expectancy should be 80 years. But actually, I think based on current extrapolation, it will be only 73 years. Similarly, under 5 mortality rate, infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, and so on, we are actually lagging behind what we are usually that. So that's the area. But there are other areas like infrastructure, roads, and so on, we are doing quite well. So there are happy stories and there are sad stories. So we have horses galloping at the same time we have horses walking.
Sir, it is actually portraying the aspirations of the younger generation and vision for future India. In the very hall, I have witnessed that, and it is unfolding. For example, something that we need to really work on to in this document is climate change, sustainable development, improving quality of life, which is there in the vision, and then in every other aspect which is being put. Believe friends like from that many things that Ranjan sir is mentioning, but naturally he's decorated with several awards. Visionary Indian amongst the 5 trillion economy that we will not discuss today. But honors have come naturally with Rani Lakshmibai Nari Shakti Puraskar, which I clearly see, sir, almost you look like it is Padma Shri, isn't it, at the hand of Pranadam. Then Bihar Gaurav, Bihar Sanman, amongst Maharashtra Ratna Award is there, India's most impactful VC, Aegista, and 100 grade IIT. You are having that education award. And then you have come back in the education field, a scientist into its domain of application has come into education. With what vision and what is the USP that you have done with the D.Y. Patil International University?
So when preparing technology vision 2035, as I mentioned, we have roadmap to achieve that vision. And we have planned 12 roadmaps in different sectors. And I have put education on number 1 position because I believe that education is the key to success of the country. It's something that does not change things in one day. You make a bridge or airport or something, you will see a change. It takes a generation for change to happen. But whatever happens is a long-term impact and it is something that's going to change. So I wanted to come back to the education sector. Luckily, education sector roadmap we released on 75th birth anniversary of Dr. Anil Karkotkar was our chairman. It was done in Pune itself. It was on November 10th, 11, 2017. And right after that, New Education Policy Committee met us in Delhi around December 2017. So our education sector roadmap became the base document for NEP document. So I wanted to come back to education sector because I thought that's where we need to focus. And I wanted to come back to a private university, and I wanted to come back to a new university for 2 reasons. One is government systems. I've been part of government and private, so I don't have any particular fascination for any of these. But I wanted to be able to make changes quick. Second, that I want to start something new because you can shape it up rather than an established organization where making changes is difficult. So luckily, D.Y. Patil International University happened to be at the right time. 24th April 2018, my TIFAC tenure of 5 years was over. And same day after farewell, I took a flight to Pune, came back, and next day, 25th April, with a press conference to start this university. Now, what we did was, as was being discussed here, the technology is changing very, very fast. And there was one of the speakers was saying that when you join in the 4-year program at first year, by the time you graduate in 4 years, you don't know what's going to happen. So we wanted to capture all of this in a flexible system. The education system was very inflexible. You are supposed to fix 4-year program ahead of time. You can't do that now. What I did, I divided the 4-year program into 2 parts. First 2 years, foundational courses, which were a little slow changing, but also changed a lot of them. And last 2 years, I did a track system. The track, you don't have to make a choice at the time of admission. After 2 years to make that choice. Those tracks I can delete, modify, or add new tracks. Suppose generative AI is coming, I can add a new track to that. So I started the program in 2018. I wrote a blog on this, what I had thought of this, shared on LinkedIn. I was surprised to see the kind of response we had. More than 50,000 views, hundreds of countries all over the world.
Great, great.
We launched that. ESP picked up that. They appreciated this program. And I said that I'm not going to take any approval or anything. As the university have the freedom, I enjoy the freedom. But they actually liked it. They sent me a official letter. They formed a committee in July 2019, which I remember. 7 new programs were started by ASP next year based on this. Similarly, digital fabrication thing I had set up to promote 3D printers from Typhoid from 2014 onwards. I'm chairman vice ideal committee of ASD, through which we're setting up many centers, 107 centers later, 327 we've just set up, now started setting up. All of them are trained in my university. Brain Computer Interface, I'm also chairman of this. We are doing good work there. Working program we have done. We have done the first semiconductor engineering program in the country, in any university.
That is the biggest one.
So many things we have done. You are welcome to come.
But I see.
And the last branch is the
Yes.
33 floors hostel building coming up just now in 1 month's time. The second highest hostel building in the country. No money come from management or something. It's all university.
35 stories.
33 stories.
33.
It's just getting
So,
this.
I see. And then we can have a virtual tour of your unit.
Yes.
A, B, C, D, E, and all those blocks which are there. Where there is a pharmacy, engineering, then IT, virtually every other sector being developed. That is futuristic. What I can see and can correlate is Harvard is having flexible syllabi. MIT is having flexible. In India, you are the first one to have done this. And sir, beyond this, now to come on to the AI and kind of a thing celebrating your life, you are having an AI avatar. And then I see sometimes you send me those songs. Now there are 78 songs on YouTube.
83.
Now
83.
83 are there. So see, he's much faster than 17. That 9 I have even see 78 I see. But this is what is and then why you have created that and what is the logic behind?
So as I keep experimenting, just like was being told by SKZ, I also keep experimenting like him. And I was very close to my grandmother because we lost our grandfather when he was very young, and I had not seen him also. So I was very close to my grandfather. She was bringing me up, and my mother would take care of my younger brother. And so I had a photograph of her from 1970, so it's a black and white photograph. So 3-4 years back, 5 years back, I was developing in creative fields. And I made her color picture of her. Then I made her animate. And I made her speak, but that was American English song. And she wanted to speak American English at all. Forget about any English. She wanted to speak Hindi. She would speak Maths. That's our mother tongue. So I started doing American English first, then Indian English, then Hindi, and then Maths actually. And so I was into these. And then 3-4 years back, my childhood friends who used to live from age of 10, they are the ones who pull our leg anytime. One of them told me that this Prabhat, if he sang a song, he'll get D. If he kept his mouth shut, he'll get C. So the message was very clear that don't open your mouth. So I said, okay, I'll make song without opening my mouth. And that's how I got into this.
Then you can see that it is fantastic kind of trick which is there. And sir, I want to know from you about Nani story. So that is for the kids, and then such a kind of thing, even I get inspired by that. So I listen.
So I have a grandson, Adi, is 7.5 years old now, in Silicon Valley.
I had one, sir.
So I go to, in fact, I'm going to him in about some time. So I should read the stories to him, bedtime stories and so on. When on November 30th, 2022, ChatGPT came out, I said, let me make stories for him. So started making stories for him. But then I saw his bedtime story had illustrations. I thought, let me try illustrations also. So I used to make PDF for him and send it to him. And he was allowed to read that book anytime. Otherwise, screen time is limited for him. And then I thought, okay, why not put my voice to it and send it to other children? So I named it Nanaji Publication, tagged it to Nanaji Publication because my grandson calls me Nanaji. I started selling on YouTube. So that's how the children's stories started.
Yes. And so now to coming on to the culmination, pinnacle of this kind of a grand dialogue with you. It is nothing short of science fiction getting unfolded. It is the perfect life in science with curiosity unfolded into the application science. And then what else is needed for the educationist and a researcher is his ideas are getting implemented. Sir, at the end, we would like you to ask that what are your future plans after this? After 65 and 1?
So, the clock gets reset after 60. So at the age of 60, my clock got reset. So I'm only 5 years and 1 day ago. Okay. So I'm as energetic as I was as a young child. So I'm not worried about age at all. And that's why I have, if you look at my songs, I have transformed myself to age of 25. Most of the songs, except one or two songs. Like one song I made, which I was with my grandson. So I have to be like a grandfather. But most of the songs, I take my 25 years young age photographs and convert them into do whatever I want to do, including dancing, singing. None of this I could do anytime. So neither I could do singing nor I could do dancing, but all of that you can see in my digital avatar. But what I'm doing right now is few things. My vice chancellor tenure got over after 7 years as per maximum possible time on 24th April 2025, just a couple of months back. But I've been given a position chairman of research, innovation, and international relations across multiple campuses. But my focus, from research only. So one focus is of course nuclear fusion. That's my first love. What we're trying to do is that, and let me link. You mentioned sustainability. You mentioned AI. You mentioned nuclear fusion. These are all linked to it. Because of AI requirement, the power demand is shooting up like anything. So that's why there's a discussion of tripling nuclear energy by 2050. We're going to net zero carbon by 2070. So only way we can produce that much energy is through nuclear process. But nuclear fission has its own limitations. So that's where nuclear fusion comes in big. So you see, AI, sustainability, and nuclear fusion are all linking together. So that's why I'm now focusing this. In 2020, I started a nuclear fusion project in India, Project Sunlayan. Sunlayan means fusion in Hindi or Sanskrit. So nuclear fusion in Hindi we call it Naabhikya Sunlayan, and nuclear fission in Naabhikya Vikhand. So I called it Project Sunlayan. A US investor promised $1 million to me, called me from US and said, "Why don't you start this work?" We started that work. That was the first private initiative in the country. But we ran out of money sometime in 2022 when Ukraine war happened, crypto went down, and then money got blocked with that. Now, recently, we restarted. Now, what we've just tried to become a little wiser. So, what we planning to make a tokamak, we'll first use it as a neutron source, produce metal isotope, and then scale it up to produce energy. Now, what we're trying to do is to use nuclear fusion to generate neutron using a deuterium tritium. So, you accelerate deuterium ions, take a tritium target, hit it with deuterium ions, and then produce neutrons. Use that neutron for producing metal isotope. Just now today morning, we saw some other example of that in Kharghar. And just few days back, I was in IPR, where they have similar generator, they have DT generator. And one company in US has also done this, they're producing metal isotope. So we are now taking lower hanging fruit. We're saying let's establish a commercial product based on nuclear fusion in India. So we have credibility, and then so gives faith to investors that you need to spend 500,000 crores rupees into this, and it should happen. So we are taking low hanging fruit. We expect by 3 years' time we should be able to commercialize this. There's a heavy shortage worldwide and India of nuclear isotopes, medical isotopes. So we are serving a social purpose. We are establishing our credentials. So this is what we are working on right now. At the same time, I was working on moon mission earlier. We're continuing with that work. Moon, Mars, and asteroid belt. We are working on in situ exploration. We have a team of people within my university, a team, somebody from Hong Kong, some from Germany, some from France, all of them coming to, and ISRO people also coming together. We just had an event on May 10th. So what we're seeing is there's a lot of potential of wealth, Moon, Mars, and asteroid belt. Moon, helium-3 is one thing we're detecting. Helium-3 is going to be a big source for as a nuclear fusion reaction and source for energy on the Moon. Asteroid belt, those of you not aware, asteroid belt with Mars and Jupiter has so much mineral wealth that if we divide among all the people on Earth, everyone gets $100 billion. That's a NASA estimate. Of course, you get so much of wealth, maybe the cost of minerals will go down. That's a separate thing, but based on current estimate. So we're looking at how to develop technology which should work on these comets, asteroids, other things, and collect things which will be value. And we're also seeing that Moon is going to be the launch pad for all space missions. Missions will land there, they'll refuel, they will go, they will not come to Earth. So it's going to be a big source. So these are the areas we are focusing there. At the same time, I'm working on chronic health problems. I've not talked about that. And disability sector, this other area of things. And of course, AI in its a variety of ways, the discussion that happened, the education sector, creative fields is a big. So these are 3, 4 areas that I'm focusing.
So multifaceted. Indeed, sir, pleasure talking to you. It was indeed fantastic dialogue with nuclear fusion, then moon, then assisted technology, plus brain gadget interaction, and plus your views on vision 2035 and beyond in education. Sir, on behalf of everyone, I wish you on my behalf also जीवन सरल पुस्तक फर्स्ट पुस्तक तो it was a fantastic. Thank you very much.
That's really there only. I think if it is a cricket match, okay, what will happen only? The bowler delivering at a speed of 150 kilometers per second. Okay, that's AI. And the way he was, like 6'4", 4'6", no signal. Okay, he realizing that. But then very conclusion, I can see the face of the people. This was real match fixing. Okay. You can't tell about me. Sir, it is a wonderful thing in fact, like, sir, he did a wonderful job. As an interviewer, why don't you make him like slightly proportionate?
Thank you so much.
Video.
Are we getting played? Okay.
This is video.
Oh my God. Sir, be on the stage, sir. May I request sir to come on the stage, Dr. Malponte, Dr. Jairam, Ms. Deshpande, and where is Dr. Maan? Please.
अभी तो ये लाइट हो गया कैमरा पहले ही नहीं Child I used to read this story. He used to write scientific. बाळापूरची स्वतः एक सायंटिस्ट आहे आणि सायन्स फिक्शन रायटर नाही किशोरमध्ये यायचं
Sir, I know that. I must tell you, the atmosphere outside is excellent in fact. Like, don't worry, rain is totally stopped. Okay, the temperature is again risen to 32 degrees. So those who are worrying about how I'm going to go back, don't worry about the way you came to here, you don't have to worry at all. You'll go very safely. You can tell your, like your family members, we are safe over here. We'll have our food here and come back very safely. Okay? All right? Well, we are assembled here to, like a finale kind of thing. Okay? Yes? Please. What have you do here? I asked Ram to start your packing. This is going to be reminiscence in fact. Why are you here? Tell something about what made you get attracted to the
Good evening, everyone. I feel honored to be here. I'm fortunate to have a leader like Professor Prabhat Ranjan ji. I had this opportunity of working with him in TIFAC for complete 5 years. And it is my privilege once again. I'm here in D.Y. Patil International University and the credit goes to Professor Prabhat Ranjan ji only. I'm heading the School of Media and Journalism department here. I spent whole of my life in media industry, worked for Times of India, maybe Hindustan Times, then Askar, then Channel, All India Radio, and finally I had this opportunity of making films on science, technology, research, and innovation for Doordarshan for complete 4 years, more than 4,000 programs. So far, the AI thing is concerned, Professor Prabhat Ranjan ji started experimenting with AI, and I had this opportunity of being in company with Professor Prabhat Ranjan. The day one made a song that was like a surprising gift for all of us. It was the song "Koi Jab Tumhara Hriday Tod De." It was the first song he made through using AI technology. Sir, in this August gathering, I must share two things. One, which I remember, it was probably the year 2015, I guess. It was the first time India hosted this India International Science Festival, IISF. And being executive director of TIFEC, he was planning so many things. 5 crore budget it was in 2015. And I was working with him day and night, literally, up to 12 at midnight. It was a quite a normal working hour for all of us. So one day, what I could witness is I was sitting just close to Professor Prabhat Ranjan. There was phone call. There was the conversation. It was not at all pleasant conversation going on. So I was getting little angry that sir is someone, I mean, I cannot use the word, but you must understand the communication. Someone idiotic, in a very idiotic way, saying something to sir. And the final line, which I'll never forget in whole of my life, Professor Ranjan coolly, calmly, quietly listened the whole conversation, bad conversation. And the final thing is that, look, उन्होंने ऐसे बोला कि देखिए हमारे पास अभी गुस्सा करने का वक्त नहीं है. That is the communication. Second thing, I just want to quote here that in School of Media and Journalism in D.Y. Patil International University, Pune, we started one thing which is student's time. It is by the student, for the student, of the student concept. So every week, a student is preparing some video content like a television series, and it is being aired. So before AI came in full motion, he conceived a program that it should be, you should be producing an episode where AI anchor is there, anchoring the whole show. And it was much before the first AI anchor claimed by Aaj Tak. It was 4 months before that particular incident where Aaj Tak showcased the AI anchor to Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. So that is the visionary leadership of Professor Prabhat Ranjan. And I really appreciate Suhas sir and the team of National Center for Science Communication. I'm really obliged. Thank you so much.
Before it was a must mention that all the songs I made, he is my advisor. Only if it clears the thing, then I do it.
In fact, I just happened to come in, I don't know. Dr. Barve happened to give the track how many songs he has composed. But only the song which really took me back is that Devanand song, you know. And this person doesn't smoke. But when I saw, wow, Start it slow. Okay? That's the thing, in fact. Inspire me. That's the reason we are here, in fact. Okay?
I don't know.
Another thing I must mention to you, in fact, like when we were in his campus, I like take you something about I'm meeting exactly on 18th of April 2016. Pre-conference dinner in connection with the technology vision document discussion at his venue. 19th we have discussion and 28th morning I just came to see because he was traveling to Pune. And what happened? Anybody can guess? What he did, in fact, he just opened the box and offered the fruits. And these fruits were nothing but the fruits were we had as an organizer had given him memento. That day I was decided, in fact, like no more flowers. Okay, no more flowers. Because he asked the chef to cut into pieces. Okay, kept in the freeze, cut into pieces. From I traveled from his Varili to chamber, I could give justice to the boat. Okay, that's it. Yeah, different. Then we had planned a conference in honor of Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh because she had crafted the book called Investing India. And we just in contemplating them how to go about it in fact. Then we requested Dr. Mashelkar to be a guest of, like one of the speaker because he one who provided the preface for the book. And when we wrote to him, he was, hearty and healthy and had this. Definitely he said, yes. But when this approaches, we come to know that doctor is not in a position to compose it, not able to deliver it in that time. Then what to do in that? Then we come to know, like then I talked to him. He says, "Oh, don't worry about it. Okay." We got the speech of Dr. Mashelkar, transferred this thing to him. He sent the sample in less than 30 seconds. Sample was not accepted. We got sample, no? We are not supposed to accept it. Next lot. In hours time, 7-minute talk was delivered. When I saw it, I said, this is Mashelkar. Oh my God. Then, as the protocol demands, like he said that let get it waited from him. So he sent the, through Dr. Pandit sir, we send his package to him. He unpacked it, and the message come back to Dr. Pandit. He said, Pandit, I won't be there on that day. If it had told me, then I would have said, yes, I expected, sir. And he mentioned to me, to Dr. Pandit, before my delivery of the talk, I want you to upload this thing, update the audience. But after seeing this particular, like creation of these creators, okay, he said, in fact, like, he was totally, he said, he made a statement like that. He said, ICT is technology driven institute. I am very happy that we are with the technology. And I think this is one of its kind in Asia, that we are the people, okay, are going to have experiment with AI and we are succeeding. And when we are, like projecting, and the audience where, like some kind of, oh, is that Dr. Mashelkar? But the creator was sitting there. Is that after that, in fact, like 7 days, I was getting constant. How did you people manage it? I said that's the $1 million questions, in fact, like because he's going to work on in the area of nuclear fusion, and he requires some money at that time. So he just will disclose to you if you are in political millions of dollars kind of thing. That's the kind of thing. Another creation of it, like crazy thing comes with the crazy minds. And that's exactly happened with Dr. Prabhat Ranjan. He insisted that can I get a biography, like CV of Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh? I said, no, उसमें क्या है? Read it. In next day, I get two characters, male and female. In the question answer form. The best part I must tell you, they were having a UK tone. And are you aware of it, Mr. His daughter, Dr. Siddhimina's daughters, asked his mother, Mama, या लोकांना माझ्या मामाबद्दल एवढी माहिती कशी काय आहे? ही आपल्याला माहिती नाहीये. You got it? He said that amount of knowledge, amount of information they disclose, we ourselves are not aware of it. How come these foreigners are aware of my mama impact, That's the creation of creators. So friends, I know that आगे बढ़ रही मैं रुकता हूँ. May I request Mr. Deshpande, mic is yours. You have to narrate something which clearly you are not in the animated points, okay? Yeah, you're not. You said I'm not supposed to speak, but you are not supposed. When you occupy the chair, you have to deliver. This is a creation of the science communicators who are happening.
I need to disclose it before I climbed up on the stage. I wouldn't have. Because knowing no subject, one has to deliver. Well, Dr. Prabhat Ranjan, it was totally unknown thing to me that Dr. Barve unfolded your entire life right from the Gurukul school days until today 65 plus 1. And then, as somebody said in the beginning, that Dr. Swaminathan had 30 years of living after 65 and a very fruitful living. I also endorse to wish that you should have 65 plus 1 plus 30 years. And that now again D.Y. Patil International University has given you a chance to go ahead and show something additional. Well, recently I had been to that campus, and then I thought Suhas Naik will announce it sometimes in August. We are going to have a conference on Dr. Eknath Chitnis, who was the first employee appointed by Dr. Vikram Sarabhai in ISRO, and who is completing 100 years on 25th of July, and he is living with good memory. So we are going to have a conference at the venue of, with the courtesy of Dr. Prabhat Ranjan. And for that purpose, we visited his institute and he was showing me so many things. In fact, I myself is an engineer, but then that is 60 years back. And so when I was seeing the engineering institute, I got totally lost. That am I engineer? So much transformation has taken place, and then Dr. Prabhat Ranjan is responsible to create all these things. Thank you and good luck to Dr. Prabhat.
That's excellent. Just imagine that. You have told me something out 2 days back. What would have happened? It's the last minute. He scored it. Century. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, now we are coming. We are very, very eagerly wanted to know how this friendship developed as per the technology vision documentary is concerned. May I request the only one, Dr. Balfonke. That will require an introduction. Okay, everybody talk about the age. Age is no bar at all. It's only number.
And at my age, one doesn't have much to look forward to, not much in the future. So one keeps reminiscing about the past. And when I do that, I keep surfing from one year to the next, on to the next, and so on. And make some occasional stops, which recall some very pleasant memories. And one of the first such stop is when I met Dr. Prabhat Ranjan. Retired over a decade ago. We met with a purpose. Dr. Kakolkar has got us together. Professor Varun Sahani, Dr. Harit Santhanam, and later Dr. Prabhat Ranjan and Gautam Goswami and some other colleagues of TAFAC. And we were invested with the task of coming up with a vision, technology vision, for the year 2035, which was almost a quarter of a century down the road at that time. We are much closer today. Since Dr. Kakolkar asked me, I couldn't say no to him. We have been very good friends for a long time, ever since BRC days. But then when we embarked on that task, we found that we have probably bit more than what we can do. It was a very formidable task. Because as has been said earlier, a vision is a very nebulous concept. One has to have one's head in the cloud, but feet firmly on the ground. And one is not that tall to span the two destinations. But as we went along, collectively started gathering ideas. And then one day, I think it was Prof. Sahani who said, well, this is not working. We have to have some intense discussions. So we started presenting ourselves in some hotel, some guest house, some remote place, where we became incommunicado with the rest of the world. And we started converting those nebulous ideas into something very concrete. And that's where I thought the input of Dr. Prabhat Ranjan was most valuable. Well, today we've seen him talking a lot, but that time, what I recollect was he was a man of few words. But words that were very pertinent. Words that were very relevant in conveying the ideas that we have. Those 3 years, and when we had those meetings, we debated almost every single word threadbare. 6 of us would have only 10 different interpretations of that word. Sometimes the final word was his. And that's what got into the document at last. Those were very pleasant days, very memorable days. And whenever I recollect them, I go into reverie. You have just heard what he did with Dr. Mashav. He created a digital twin of Dr. Mashav, brought into life here. I just wonder whether AI was present and he had that ability at that time, maybe it would have been considered redundant. We would not have, not one would have needed us to do that. And thank God it was not there at that time, although he was there at that time. Because what we accomplished at that time. And I think we are all proud of what we came up with. I have that satisfaction, having contributed my little bit to the development of the country. As he came back from Berkeley, I returned from London. And the other day, someone was asking me, how is it that you didn't think of settling down there abroad? How is it that you came back? Well, most of us came back. Number of, not I alone, many of us. But we were fired with some vision. A vision which was created by Dr. Bhabha, overall that we had inherited from him. It was a very difficult time. We had to struggle a lot. What you see BARC today, at that time, was spread all over the city. Different places, different labs. Some of them were tin sheds, literally tin sheds. No air conditioning, not even proper furniture. Labs which were set up in abandoned mills, Bombay dyeing mills, and so many places. But still, we are fired with that vision that we have to do something in this country, and we worked. And that vision was rekindled when we worked together. And I hope that will similarly attract younger generation, which is probably almost 70 years younger than I am, to do something similar and take the country much further. And I hope I may not be around, but I'm sure, I hope Professor Ranjan will be around to see that vision come to fruition. Thank you.
I think I should continue. Okay. And so, everybody asks us, what is the USP of National Center for Science Communicator? What kind of program you organize? I said, we only do organize of people who complete 80 years, people complete 75 years, people complete 70, 65 sometimes, and why not sometimes 60? We are in that bracket, in fact. It started way back in 2006 when we had a privilege of honoring only beautiful mind in science communication, Dr. Yashpal. That was 2006. We are approaching centenary year of Dr. Yashpal very soon, 2026. Okay, then we have Dr. Utkaukar, who completed 18 years in 2008. 2009, we have Dr. P.N. Bhargava. I can go on and on. But then, one point of time, Dr. Phonke was very reluctant because he don't want to disclose the age of him. But we were knowing when he was born. So we approached him when he completed 80 years. He took his own time. At 81, we never left. He had celebrations of his 81st birthday in this premises. Okay. Dr. Jayaraman, you also, for your sake, you had to lower down the, 70, from 85 to 75, in fact. Yes, when he completed 75, we had a excellent, area in science, storytelling. That was our brand. And well, we had a excellent session kind of thing. And now we are experiencing when Prabhat Ranjan completed 65 years, what happens on next day. Sir, may I ask you, just because you were introducing differently, just to please, some 4 lines are left in fact. Like, can you complete it?
It's difficult to say no to Suhas. So I'll take a minute. I was just doing a thought experiment. If Shakespeare were to visit this place and see all of us together, what would he have said on looking at Prabhat Ranjan? I think Shakespeare would have said, nature has mixed the elements in the right form in your form, and you are the hydrogen front end.
Wonderful.
Now I would like to bring Bertrand Russell here. If Bertrand Russell were to look at Prabhat Ranjan, what would he say? He led a good life, inspired by love and guided by knowledge. Love without knowledge and knowledge without love are disastrous, and he is a safe and innocent man. That was Shakespeare's statement and Bertrand Russell's statement at this point in time.
Wonderful.
Oh my God. I think Shakespeare's Bertrand Russell. I hope you're not quoted silly or something like that. Because they have people who controls the people differently. Now the time has come. Oh, we are ready.
It is not all.
Okay. Then the time has come, like to see a brighter face of this AI man in that. We like to felicitate him. Okay, may I request Dr. Balfonki to do the honor. Yes. Our in different style, we like to do it in time, like this all. So the citation, may I? Okay, I'll send a copy of everybody. I don't want to read now. Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Fine, then.
Yeah. Well, for further fruitful years to come. Oh, at age of 67.
I hope you won't put it now.
So I already get ready for this. He can carry it tomorrow. Okay. May I request sir to respond differently?
If I was to copy Dr. Jaraman and use AI, I would have asked ChatGPT to create these things for me in different things, but I've not done that. I'd just like to thank all of you for coming here. It just energizes me to continue working. I feel as young as ever, and my songs you'll see I'm very young there also.
Yeah.
And today, what I found is among the young people, they're quite talented. There are resources. So personally, I would like to repeat something that I said in London 2 years back in 2023. There was an International Atomic Energy Agency conference, annual conference on nuclear fusion. I was asked to represent Global South. I was given only 5 minutes time. And still on YouTube, but I'll just give one part of it. And I said that Global South or Global North is not a geographical concept, it's an economical concept. Economical boundaries have kept changing over the last thousands of years. Look at 2000 years of history. Till 1800, first 1800, India and China were ahead of others. India was mostly ahead of others. Only the last 200 years that India has gone down. But then I told people in London, a lot of Britishers, mostly old Britishers, let me see that YouTube video, that right now India is 5th largest economy GDP wise, and in few years' time will be 3rd largest, which we already seen, we are already 4th largest. Purchase power parity point of view, we are 3rd largest already. And then I made a statement that by 2047 or 2050, I've been saying that India will be 2nd largest economy, but today I'm changing my statement. India will be the 1st largest economy of the world. Thank you.
Friends, if a telephone number you are given, with your permission, if I able to use it, I will send you this creation, okay, electronically to you. Okay. So if you're not you can give to me back. Oh, I'm also feeling hungry. Why not, sir? Propose a vote of thanks as early as possible. May I request the Anish? I think Anish doesn't he require an introduction differently, in fact. Like the creation which you saw in your hand paper, is giving all the people, like inauguration, sorry, vote of thanks to the introduction, welcoming. That is his creation. And working with him is a very, very pleasurable one. Being astronomer, I work at night. If I send something in the morning, I don't get immediately. I get in the same night. So I have to tell the people, how did this happen? I said, no, my creator is not in India, he's in UK. That's all the purpose, sir. And very, very, like, don't go by his, might be 23, 25, okay? I had to disclose because 65, 25, difference is only 40. I don't know what you're going to do at the age of 65. You can see Dr. Ranjan could do what at the age of 65 here. So friends, may I request you to propose a vote of thanks?
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the National Center for Science Communicators and our esteemed collaborator, the Nehru Science Center, Mumbai, I, Anish Gawande, have the distinct honor and privilege of delivering the vote of thanks at the close of this enriching and inspiring event. First and foremost, we extend our deepest gratitude to Dr. Prabhat Ranjan, sir, whose towering contributions to nuclear fusion, education, and innovation we celebrate today. From pioneering efforts in fusion reaction to spearheading Technology Vision 2035, sir, your journey is nothing short of extraordinary. Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights and for being an unwavering torchbearer of the scientific progress in India. I would also like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Bal Funke, sir, for gracing this occasion with his presence. Your participation has added immense value to this gathering. A special thank you to our distinguished panelists, Devesh Rajadhyaksha ji, C.B. Abraham ji, and Rishikesh Andulekar ji, for a truly engaging and thought-provoking discussion on the role of artificial intelligence in science communication. Your perspectives illuminated not only the vast potentials of AI, but also its ethical concerns. Our sincere appreciation to Dr. Kavita Pandey, today's moderator, for so ably curating and guiding the panel discussion with poise and purpose. I also wish to acknowledge the vision and commitment of Dr. A.P. Jayaraman, Chairman of NCSC, and Mr. Suhas Naik Satam, Chairman of the NCSC Implementation Committee. Thank you, sir, for your inspiring leadership and for bringing this event to life. To Dr. Siddhi Vinayak Barve, thank you for your contribution for today's celebration and for your continued encouragement. We are immensely grateful to our co-organizer, the Nehru Science Center, headed by Umesh Kumar Rustagi, sir, for providing this wonderful venue and ensuring seamless coordination. Your dedication to promoting scientific temper remains a constant source of inspiration. And finally, to each and every one of you in the audience, students, researchers, educators, science enthusiasts, thank you for being with us today. Your engagement, enthusiasm, and presence made this event truly special. As we conclude, let us carry forward not only our admiration for Dr. Prabhat Ranjan's legacy, but also a renewed resolve to advance the mission of scientific inquiry and innovation in our respective spheres. Thank you once again and have a wonderful evening. We would now like to invite you to join us for a high tea session. But before that, before dispersing, may I request everyone to please rise for the national anthem.
How to write for the national anthem before that? Something hadn't missed my mind, in fact, like. So extra words I require. May I request Chairman, okay, to give it to Dr. Khunke. Please honor Dr. Punke's. So, Ms. Dr. Punke, sir. Maybe this one, sir. My name is Ivan. You require. You deserve. Okay. So now, don't speak. Please continue the next one. शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जय जय भारत भाग्य विधाता जय भारत माता की जय विज्ञान जय तंत्रज्ञान. Okay, be there. May I request all the people to take your own seat? I want a group photograph of all the people to meet. You stand there, wherever you are there, stand there only. Sir, please join there. I'll take the photo.
You can just kind of hold it like this. The continuous recording project on. I will just hold it like